I'm going to say that again. The brain rewires based on our repeated thoughts and feelings, and then the body responds to belief and perception. Thoughts held in mind do what? Very good. All right. So our genes are not fixed. They are expressed based upon environment, which includes our emotional and mental states. In other words, you are not a fixed system, you are a responsive field. All right, thank you, choir. Wow, David and choir, what a great job. Yes. And what a great song. It's a perfect song for the culmination of our series, because we've been exploring the idea of wholeness and how it's with us all the time. It is our nature. We exist in the midst of wholeness, and sometimes we stray into the night. It happens, right? Or is it just me? No, Kelly does too? Yeah, I do too. Yeah, it happens. But the point is, God is always there, always in the midst of all of that. So today we are here at the culmination of our journey, our awakening to wholeness, and it's appropriate that if you look at our shirts closely, the title of yesterday's teen event was Dare to Bloom. Dare to bloom into health and wholeness. Dare to bloom into who we are. Dare to bloom into expressing our true selves. So in this series, we have talked about healing. We've explored resetting the inner code, the old messages that we have received. We've talked about patterns that have shaped our lives. And today, we go deep. Today, we arrive at the point where we realize this is not about fixing. It's not about improving. It's not about becoming. In truth, it's about embodying the truth that already exists, because this is what we step into the realization of. We remember wholeness. We don't become whole. We remember our wholeness. And it's appropriate that this conclusion of this series landed on Palm Sunday. So let's look at Palm Sunday. Now in Unity, we don't do the palms and all of that kind of stuff. It's not about that. It's not even about a parade. For us in Unity, it's the recognition that Jesus rides into Jerusalem not on a war horse, but on a donkey. Not in dominance, but in humility. Not to conquer, but to reveal. Which means that the symbology for us is that the Christ enters into our consciousness. Not to change us or defeat us, but to reawaken us to the truth that has always been. We sang that song, Hosanna, but few people know what the original meaning of that word was. We're told that the crowd shouted Hosanna as Jesus entered. Who knows what it really meant? Yeah, nobody, so I could make something up, but I won't. The original meaning of the word was save us. Save us. The people of that time were celebrating something they didn't truly understand. They recognized the Christ, but they only recognized the Christ in Jesus. And indeed, that was the message that came down through Christianity, that the Christ was only Jesus. And yet Jesus was saying, you are the Christ. That which is in me is in you. So the people of that day, and I still think most of the people today, have not yet embodied the Christ. We realize what it is. At least we in Unity do. But we haven't embodied it fully yet. And isn't that human nature? We celebrate love, but we don't always live it. We believe in peace, but we still carry conflict. We affirm wholeness, but we still feel broken. So Palm Sunday, then, for us, is the moment where recognition meets invitation. And the question becomes, will I just celebrate the Christ, or will I embody it? Will I just celebrate the Christ, or will I embody it? And that's what we're here to do today, to embody the Christ, that Christ spirit that is in each and every one of us, that is each and every one of us. And that Christ spirit is whole and perfect. Charles Fillmore wrote something very profound. He said that wholeness is our true state of being, not something we achieve. It is rather something that we uncover. Myrtle Fillmore, who lived this teaching in her own body and expressed it, said this: I am a child of God, and therefore I do not inherit illness. Now let's pause right there for a moment and really look at what they were saying, especially what Myrtle was saying here. Myrtle was not denying appearances. She wasn't saying, oh, my body's perfect and whole right now. She was saying, I am perfect and whole, and she was refusing to give anything else authority over her expression. She didn't say, someday I will be whole. When I do this, when I do that, when I pray enough, when I meditate enough, when I express the Christ enough, she said, no, I am whole. Wholeness is already true, and I will live from that truth. And she did. And what happens when we live from our truth? We begin to embody the truth. It's not an overnight process. It takes time. It took Myrtle several years to get her body to that place that her consciousness was at. And that's okay. Science is backing this up. This is where it gets fun. Modern science, especially neuroscience and epigenetics, I always have to look at that word, epigenetics, is catching up to what Myrtle discovered. The brain rewires based on our repeated thoughts and feelings. I'm going to say that again. The brain rewires based on our repeated thoughts and feelings, and then the body responds to belief and perception. Thoughts held in mind do what? Very good. All right. So our genes are not fixed. They are expressed based upon environment, which includes our emotional and mental states. In other words, you are not a fixed system, you are a responsive field. Quantum science is backing this up. The observer impacts the observed based on their thoughts and feelings. What you consistently identify with becomes what you express. So, if you identify as being broken, your system organizes around that. If you identify as whole, your system begins reorganizing towards that. It's not magic, it's alignment. So let's take this one step further. Healing says, something is wrong and I need to fix it. Wholeness says, nothing is missing and I am ready to live it. Now, don't get me wrong. Healing is sacred. That's the doorway. Wholeness is the home. And at some point, we stop asking, how do I fix myself? And we begin asking, what would it look like to live if I were already whole? And in a sense, this is one of the levels of meaning in the whole Palm Sunday experience. Jesus begins the final week of his ministry. And what we see is not someone trying to become divine, but someone fully embodying it. Think about that week and all the events. No matter what was happening around Jesus, he didn't lose his identity in the chaos. He didn't shrink in the face of pressure. He didn't abandon love because it was inconvenient. He embodied the Christ, not just occasionally, not when it was easy, but consistently. And that's the invitation, to embody that Christ, that wholeness that we are, even when it's inconvenient, even when it's not easy. It's to embody it consistently. And when we do that, a shift happens. What does it look like? What does embodying wholeness look like? Well, it looks like this. You stop negotiating your worth. Think about Jesus in front of Pilate. He just didn't even engage. He just said, you speak. I know who I am. He didn't argue. He stopped negotiating. Another thing we do is we stop rehearsing old stories of limitation. We stop waiting for conditions to improve before we claim our truth. And instead, we begin living from the inside out. We walk into the room as wholeness. We speak as wholeness. We love as wholeness. Not always perfectly. We are human beings. But intentionally. And that's the difference. Sometimes we think, well, everything has to be perfect before I can do this. Or if I can't do it perfectly, I'll wait until I can. No. We start where we are. We speak wholeness, we walk wholeness, and we love wholeness. You know, let's be real. Most of us don't wake up in the morning thinking, I am the embodiment of divine wholeness today. If you're like me, you probably wake up and go, where's my coffee? Where is it? Or maybe you wake up and you say, where's my coffee and why is my back doing that thing? Embodiment doesn't mean perfection, it means orientation. It means even in the middle of life, we return to the truth again and again and again. So now let's come back to Palm Sunday. When the crowd shouted, Hosanna, they were saying, save us, Jesus, save us. They still were putting the power outside of themselves. When Jesus' entire message was, it's in you like it's in me. Truly, if he were here today, he would probably say, the only difference between me and you is that I got it. And I'm trying to tell you, you got it. I'm teaching you so you can get it. But the crowd shouted, Hosanna. And yet, within a few days, that same crowd that welcomed him so excitedly turned on him. Why? Because they expected somebody out there to do the work for them. They were looking to external power rather than their own power. They were looking for a savior outside of themselves. And Jesus was pointing to something else entirely. The Christ is not just to be admired, it is to be lived. And that's where we stand today. Not as spectators, but as participants. So let me give you something simple to take with you from this series. Ask yourself this. If I were already whole, how would I show up today? If I were already whole, how would I show up today? How would I show up in this conversation? How would I show up in this challenge, in this relationship? And then here's the key. Do it. Don't wait. Do it. Not someday, right now. So let me ask you something. Are you ready? Are you ready to begin doing this? Okay, I still hear a lot of hesitation there. Oh, God, he's going to make me do something. No, I'm not. It's your choice. But if something inside of you is saying, I am ready, I am tired of living the way I have lived, I am tired of being the way I've been, and I know that in truth, I am more. In truth, I am whole. In truth, I am I am perfect. In truth, I am the expression of God as wholeness. If you're ready to do that, let's begin. And let's begin knowing it's not going to be perfect right away. But let's do a mindset reorientation. Let's change our consciousness because that's where it starts. All right. So I invite you then to enter into a time of meditation, to get comfortable in your chair, to plant your feet on the floor, to take a gentle breath in and let it go. And another, a gentle breath in and let it go. Slow and easy. Breathe in and release. Allow the body to settle, to soften, and to arrive. And bring your awareness to your body. Notice your feet, your legs. Feel the chair upon which you are seated. Feel the support beneath you. And know this, no matter where you are, what you are doing, you are always supported. You are always held. That is the grace of God. You are always supported and held. So right here, right now, let your shoulders drop. Let your jaw soften. Let your breath become natural. And now gently release any need to figure anything out. Let that go. Divine Mind already knows. You do not need to figure it out. Let it go. There is nothing to fix, nothing to solve, nothing to become. There is just this moment, just this breath, just this presence. And now gently bring your attention to the center of your chest, your heart chakra. Not the physical heart, but the deeper center of awareness, of being. And imagine there is a soft light there. It may be faint. It may be bright. It doesn't matter. Just notice it. That light represents something essential. Not something that you created, but something that has always been there. That something is whole, complete, and untouched. With each breath in, imagine that light gently expanding. filling your chest, your shoulders, your arms, your legs, your feet, until it completely fills you. And with each breath, it expands. It's not a dramatic light. It's not something overwhelming. But it is whole and complete. It is endless. It's calm, grounded, and steady. And now gently, in the midst of this light, in your own awareness, affirm to yourself, I am whole. I am whole. I am complete. I am complete. Nothing is impossible in me. Nothing is impossible in me. All things are possible in me. All things are possible in me. Let those words land in your heart, in your mind. Not as something you are trying to believe, but the truth that you are remembering. And if any thoughts arise, any old feelings of I am not enough, any places where you felt broken, just notice them. And remember, they are just old thoughts, old programming. They are not true. They were never true. And they have no power. And just see them gently floating away and dissolving into the nothingness from whence they came. There is no need to fix them. No need to fight them. Just let them pass, for they are not the truth of who you are. The truth of you is still here. It has always been here. It will always be here. Steady, present, and whole. And now, in this wholeness, bring to mind a situation in your life, something current. Perhaps a conversation, a challenge, a relationship. And gently ask within, if I were already whole, how would I show up in this? Don't force an answer. Just let it be. If I were already whole, how would I show up in this? And now imagine yourself being that version of you, standing in that situation, speaking, responding, showing up from wholeness. From calmness, from clarity, from presence. Feel it in your body. This is embodiment. And now see yourself walking forward, entering into a higher place like Jesus entered into Jerusalem. Walking forward, not seeking approval, not seeking permission, not seeking validation, but simply knowing who you are, the Christ presence. Whole and complete. Alive within you, not above you, not outside of you, but as you, expressing through and as you. And as you walk, feel that quiet confidence, grounded peace, and deep within know this: I carry wholeness into every space I enter. I carry wholeness into every space I enter. Let that settle. Let it take root in your body, in your mind, in your emotions. Let it become familiar, natural, and accessible. I carry wholeness into every space I enter. I am whole. I am complete. I embody the living presence of the divine, here and now. I carry wholeness into every space I enter. And now, begin to bring your awareness back to your breath. Back to your body. Back to the room. Gently wiggle your fingers and toes. And when you're ready, gently open your eyes. Myrtle Fillmore didn't wait for her body to prove wholeness. She declared it, and then she lived it. Jesus didn't wait for the world to affirm the Christ. He embodied it, and the world had to respond. And you are not here to become something new. You are here to become what you have always been, whole and complete. And so let's anchor this together. I will say an affirmation, you can repeat it. I am whole.
I am whole.
I am complete.
I am complete.
I am the living expression of the Christ within me.
I am the living expression of the Christ within me.
And I choose to embody that truth.
And I choose to embody that truth.
Here,
Now,
and fully. And I see the wholeness you are.